Hey, so this is my first YouTube video. So my username down there below is TWQ Emma Frost, and I've got that name for quite a long time. I got it a long time ago because my favorite, one of my favorite Marvel comic characters is the White Queen Emma Frost, which is interesting because, you know, probably people looking at the name would probably assume, oh, we thought you were a girl. No, it's not, just happen to be a fan. So a lot of people here probably know me as Luxine, or for short, they call me Lux. And let's see, I decided to do my first YouTube video because I was inspired by John, and very much so by Declan. You should watch their videos, it's pretty funny. And I have decided that my first video I'm going to do an SL shout out. I want to talk to everybody and, say hi to them all. So, okay, so let me see. I'll go with Axis first. He's my actual real-life brother, and he is awesome. He's been there for me through so much that I've been through in life. I actually started talking to him when I was about 18, and since then, we just kept talking and talking, and eventually I moved in with him, and I'm so much better out here than I was back home. He's probably my rock, probably been there through me through the most. Him and I think my best friend Heather in real life. So hey, if you see this. So let me see. On SL though, he's my son. That's funny. Yeah, he's my older brother, but on SL he's my son. He's probably one of the best people I ever met. Zuzu would probably be next because he's paired with Axis. On SL, that is. Zuzu's awesome. He's probably one of the guys I can talk to the most and relate with pretty well. He's very nice, very smart. Probably one of the stuff I really like about him a lot. He keeps things pretty honest with me too. He doesn't try to look on the bright side of things or look on the negative side of things. He just kind of sees how it is and just gives it to you. And usually probably in the nicest way you could probably go about it. He's just an awesome person. Some people will probably think that that's probably a negative quality of his, but I think it's a really positive quality. He's very inquisitive, very observant, and probably one of the best people I ever met. And his Avi changes all the time. I've gotten so used to that. I'm just like, oh, okay, it's Zuzu. And let's see. So, Rio! He's probably like, oh my gosh. And his birthday just passed recently, so happy birthday again. And let me see. We have Chrono, who is Axis's real life. Other half. He's awesome. He's very smart, very intelligent. He knows a lot about computers. I don't even know. He's probably going to be the one helping me upload this video. So, yeah. But he's pretty awesome. Anything you need to know, he's always there for that. Very nice guy too. I have to say, my first SL experience though was with Sylv, because when I first started out, he was the one who kind of helped me navigate myself on SL, so I'm not so newbie, and he helped with my Avi. People are probably looking at me too, like, what is SL? SL is Second Life. I would say that's probably like a multimedia chat. I'm gonna call it that. It's like virtual reality meets multimedia. It's kind of like Sims, but you can talk and sort of kind of do a little bit more than just The Sims. Better than The Sims, I would probably say. So let me see. Then that leaves, I went through him, so I guess I'll go with Sheely. Sheely. How can I forget Sheely? Meeting Sheely, well, I met Zuzu through Declan, and then when I met Sheely, I met him through Zuzu. We went to Evo, or as I call it, Hitlerland. There is a reason. You guys know why. So I'm sorry, I'm a little sick today, but, so basically we went to Hitlerland, And I was introduced to Sheila and Cass. Cassifer, I miss you. You gotta come back. He was playing cards with Sheila. I think it was Uno. I think we were all playing Uno. And then we all sat there. She left the table and accidentally got mad. So she was like beating it with a frying pan. And she was shooting like machine guns at it. And she was like stabbing it with a sword and slicing it. And I was like, oh my god. And I'm sitting there playing like, is she gonna hurt us? Is she gonna kill us? And then she's just like, no, that's just Sheila. Sheila just does that all the time. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, we later on went to talk to the pool, at the swimming pool, me and Zuzu, and Sheila happened to walk over. No, she didn't even walk over. She's throwing giant, like, discs in the air, and at least that's what I thought they were, and then I saw, like, one fall right in the swimming pool. I'm like, is that a giant cookie? And Zuzu's like, hold on a minute. He walks over to the edge, it's like, Sheila, stop throwing those. You can kill people with those. Those are giant-sized cookies. And Sheila's like, I'm sorry. You guys just looked hungry. So it's funny. Through the whole night, I was kind of nervous. But she's awesome because that's how she always is like. But it's funny and it's refreshing. Keeps us all, like, laughing and everything. I think probably one of the best things I like about her, though, is she is very... we think a lot alike. Like, when you really get down to, like you know, knowing Sheila more on a personal level, there's a lot of things we agree on, and we're very different in aspects, but we kind of have very similar thought patterns and the way things we view or opinions that we have. So she's pretty awesome. I'd say she's probably like one of the sisters I've never had. Probably one of the few girls I get along with really well on SL. So that leaves her. So I guess we'll go with Vampy. Vampy is probably helped me out through probably a lot of my depression. I went through a really hard stage, and he was right there for me, helping me out through the whole thing. He was very supportive. He's like, you'll get through this. You're really strong. Things will get better. Trust me. And he's been very supportive, very protective, very nice. Funny story with him, though. Meeting him was interesting. I met him through Sheila. We went through Hitlerland, yeah. So he was there, and we didn't talk much then. We didn't talk much at least until the castle was put up at another area that we were at, and that's how we started talking more, when he kind of came around more. And he's probably one of the best guys I ever met. I don't think I could, like, see a life without him. He's like, awesome. And let me see. Jezzy would be the other one who came in, too. She's pretty funny. We compare our customer service crack. The lovely customer service. We compare stories with that. We both had jobs similar to that. She's going through a hard time now, but, you know, I hope it all works out for her. You know, keep fighting, beat them, win. You see, I met her it's kind of a similar story with Vampy with her. I was there for her siren. I remember this. And but we didn't talk much. So when she came in, I see her through meetings every now and then when she came around. But we didn't communicate much. And then when we finally did, we realized we have a lot in common. We kind of have a really rough past. We're both from Puerto Rico. And people are probably looking at me now like, you're from Puerto Rico? Oh my god, we thought you were white. And I'm just probably like, I get that a lot. Anywho, so she gets the same treatment on her end too, but she's a pretty cool person. I have to say, after her would probably be Ashton. He's an interesting cat. That one. He's really out there. He's a nice guy though. He's very nice. But he's a little odd. And I think he even would agree to. I don't think he would deny that. He would say he's probably a little unusual himself. But he's a very nice guy. I think his heart's in the right place. He's a nice person. He can be a little out there, but he's cool. Hey. So, let me see. I think the way we first met him was with Sheely and me. We went through. Well, usually what we would do is I would usually hang out with Declan and everybody, but then I think Declan went to work on the weekends, and I wouldn't see him until the weekday. So basically, I would just hang out with the family, and then Sheely was like, "Oh, let's just go explore. Let's go do something rather than just sit around." So we did. And I think we went to Boys Town, and that's when we first met him. He was there talking with some other guy. And he was weird. He was the conversations they were having were out there. I think the most I remember is pot. Yeah. So eventually, we talked for a moment, but we didn't really see him again. He was like another one that kind of came in later. He started talking to other people we sort of knew, and then eventually he kind of came into the family that day. Well, days later, probably weeks later, actually, and he's been around ever since. I think he's pretty cool. It's a little... he's interesting. The best way to describe it is you'd have to meet him and judge for himself. He does have a video of him at work. Let me see. Then, Cedric, I think, is the new one that we have just recently. He's a really nice guy. I would say he's pretty honest, kind of blunt. Kind of a little too blunt at times, but in a good way. Because I would say it's not a bad way. It's not a bad thing to be too blunt. I think it's just sometimes you just need a little bit. Something that I learned to do as I kind of, because I used to be pretty similar in that aspect too. I learned to kind of pull back a bit and not be too brutal about it. I'm not saying he is. He has his moments, but he's usually pretty nice, very honest. I have to say I like him too. He has this tendency of talking and thinking at the same time, and he would express his emotion. So even sometimes when he feels he would say something bad or he feels a little guilty, he'll be like, well, now I'm kind of feeling bad. I'm really sorry. I kind of said it that way. I didn't mean it that way, and things like that. Or sometimes he'd be like, and I'm really happy about that, and I'm very excited. It's like he expresses what he's thinking as well socially, which is an interesting quality. It's refreshing. I would say still getting to know him, but he's a good guy, and I would think that would leave the best for last. That would be Declan. Hey. So we have quite a history. I met him, I think, in Voyeurism. It's a gay strip club. So I met him there, and he's... it was funny. I was exploring at the time. I was really new, and he happened to appear there. He landed right on top of the stripping stage, and I'm standing on the bottom. So I'm thinking, like, do you work here? And he's like, no. They couldn't pay me enough to work here. And I'm like, okay. So we started talking then, and that's how we kind of met. He's a really wonderful person. Probably the only guy I think that ever actually stole my heart, and still does. So we met him, and we got really close. He introduced me to families and friends of his. He's probably one of the nicest guys I ever met. He introduced me to everybody, and I do know he goes through some hard times too. Some people would probably judge him a little harshly for it, but I think he's human just like everybody else, you know. No one's perfect, and sometimes everyone seems to forget that, you know, everybody's human and they make mistakes, and I make mistakes, and Lord knows I have. But he's a wonderful guy. I think the goal is he tries to do just about anything and everything for other people before he would do it for himself. I think he's probably one of the best people I ever met. I don't think there's a day that goes by where I don't think about him. I probably think about him first every morning I wake up and before I go to bed. So yeah, I think you're a very special person to me. I think you don't get enough credit than you do. And every there's so much I could say. But I want to keep this happy, and I want to keep this good. I don't want to cry. You know, I really care about you. So, to you, Declan, and you know, you're always in my heart. So, okay, so I wanted to do this shout out for you guys. It's probably not as funny as the other guys, but I wanted to like at least make my first YouTube video, you know, just for you guys. Maybe I'll think about another one. I was thinking about doing some sort of holidays that I tend to celebrate in the future. We'll see. But you guys are awesome, and I love each and every single one of you. And you know, take care, and hopefully I can make more videos in the future. And you know, lots of loves, lots of hugs. Bye, guys.